make things easy for you by examples and by practice, right? So let me open a new Excel file. Right. So this is a new Excel file, and let's assume for a minute that we decided to create a directory for the faculty in the information systems department at the College of Business, right? So we have the ID of the faculty members, or let's start simpler than this. Okay, we have the names of the faculty members. So we have Professor Babita Gupta. She is our professor, the professor here. We have Professor Shwadeen Sharma, and we have me. Okay, and let me insert something. So insert. This is the name, and then we have the email, right, and the phone or extension. Okay, so the email for Babita is bgupta@csumb.edu. For Shwadeen is Sharma, csumb.edu, and for me it's Emma Abu Zahra at csumb.edu, right? And for the extensions, we'll put anything 1111, 2222, 3333. Okay, so these are some information about a directory of the IS faculty in the College of Business, right? We'll call this sheet directory. Okay, this can be similar to any phone directory or any yellow pages that you can use to look up businesses, to find information about businesses and so on. Just a directory, right? And then we have another sheet. We will call this faculty info. Okay. Now, before I go through the lookup functions, there is a very simple function that I want to share with you, not a function, something visual that we do in Excel. And it's very useful in your project. And I sometimes I ask about it in my exams as well. Okay, so pay attention to this small thing, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you insert the name of the faculty here. I will ask you, for example, I want the phone number of Shwadeen. Okay, and so I will write Shwadeen here, and we are going to use the lookup function to get his email and phone number, right? Right. Let's say that instead of Shwadeen, I wrote Jackie. Okay. Now there is no faculty named Jackie here, so you will get an error, right? Or let's say that you write Shwadeen in the incorrect way. So instead of writing it like this, you put an E at the end. In this case, you will also get an error when you are trying to find the information for this person. So how do we avoid errors in when we are entering data in Excel? There is a very simple way in Excel called data validation. Data validation allows us to make sure we are selecting or we are picking the correct information. So please, I want you to focus and see how I set up data validation and make sure I select the right name here, right? So to do data validation, I go to the data drop-down list right there, okay? And then in the data tab, you will see something called data validation. There is a button here called data validation, okay? If I click the data validation, if I click beside this and then click data validation, right? You will find a window that opens here, and it's asking you what kind of validation do we want to create, okay? So this is where you can restrict the type of data you can you get from the user, right? So in our case, we are going to select a list, okay? So I'm going to select list right here, list, okay? And once I select list, I will get this small box open, asking me to select where am I getting my list from, where I am getting my list from. So I will click right there, and we'll go to directory and select the names of the professors. So I will select these 3 rows and press enter. Okay. And then press OK. Now you will see that in front of the name, I have a drop-down list with the names of the professors. So I can select the name from the data. There is no way I'm going to make an error. I have to select one of the names of the data, right? Let me do this one more time. If I want to delete this this thing, I can go to data validation, and then I can clear validation things. I can go to data validation, and I can clear all. Okay. Okay. And this will clear things, right? So again, to enter it, I went to the data tab, and then data validation, and then in the validation criteria, I allow data from list. Okay. And from the source is the column containing my data. So I clicked on this button here. I went to directory and selected the names, because this is what I am going to use to find the email and extension, right? And then OK. And it's created here. I clicked here by mistake. That's OK. I will do it one more time. Validation list. Okay. So as you will see on your project, you will find that this is a very useful feature to have, right? So now I have my 3 professors, and what I want to do now is to search for the email associated with this professor and the phone associated with this professor in the directory. Okay, so it's like we are working in one classroom, and I ask one of you guys, Ashley or whatever, please go ahead and find the phone number of Professor Babita Gupta for me. Okay, so the question now, what I want to focus on now is, how would you do this? If I ask you, please go ahead and find the email of Professor Muhammad Abu Zahra, how would you go and search the directory and identify the email for this person? Let's follow the steps, because this is how we will be able to use lookup functions. Okay, so if you think about that logically, okay, we have a name here called Muhammad, and this name exists in a different table. Okay, so to find the email associated with Muhammad, what I will do is I will go to directory. Okay, and I will start searching for Muhammad in the name field. Okay, this is the field that is my key field, the field that contains the key of my directory, right? So I will be searching for Muhammad. So this is not Muhammad, this is not Muhammad, this is Muhammad. Muhammad is in row number 4, right? So once I find the row number that contains my key value, or what we call lookup value, I will go and check the email column in the same row, and I will grab the email in the same row, right? So Muhammad is in row 4. The email associated with it is mabuzahra@cscumb.edu in the email column. So I'm going to grab this, copy. Okay, and then I'm going to paste it in the email here, right? Same thing for the phone. I already identified Muhammad is in row number 4, right? I will move to the column with the extension. I will find that the extension of Muhammad is 3333. So I will write it right there, right? So this is how lookup functions exactly work. They work in 2 steps. Step number 1, search for the key value, or it's called, there is another name for it, lookup value, in the appropriate column in the data table. Okay, this is what I did in the first step. I took the name Muhammad and I used it to search the names in the name column in the data table. Okay, so this is the first step. Okay, and and identify the row number. Okay. The second step is once I do that, use the row number to copy the associated value in the correct column. Okay. So this is what I did. Once I identified that Muhammad is in row number 4, I copied the data either from the email if I want the email, or from the extension if I wanted the extension. Okay. Is this process clear, everyone? Is this clear for everyone? Any questions about the process? We haven't done anything with lookup functions yet. Okay. Right. So how do lookup functions work? Lookup functions do exactly this, but in an automated way. So instead of you searching for the name manually and inserting it, copying and pasting it, lookup functions do this for you automatically. Okay. So the purpose of lookup functions is to get data from a different table to a new table. Okay, which is exactly what we are doing here. We are getting data from the directory table and inserting it into the faculty info table. Okay, this is the only thing that lookup functions are used for. We don't use lookup functions to modify the table itself. We use lookup functions to move data from one table to the other, okay, or to search for values in a table. Okay, so this is the purpose of lookup functions. Okay, now we have two families of lookup functions. We have a family called match index functions. Okay, so match index functions. This is one family we'll talk about in a minute.